Hey guys, welcome to another lesson here at THSS Technology. Today we're going to build on our previous lesson set in Unity, and we're going to develop our top-down game a little bit more. So let's just do a quick refresher of what we had. We have this marvelous cube that's able to move around our game with the WASD keys. But with many top-down games, you want to set boundaries for your player where they can and can't go. So for example, right now I can move off the screen, which isn't really ideal. So if you're doing a wave shooter or something like that, generally you want to kind of lock your player to the bottom 2/3 of the map here. So let's go about and work on that today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of determine where we want our boundaries to be inside of this viewport. So for example, if I move my cube up, I kind of want it to go to about this general area. So if we look over here at a transform position, we'll notice my y value is at 2.2. So I kind of want y equals 2.2 to be my maximum range for my up and down movement. And for going down this way, I kind of want to go to about looks like negative 4.4 or 4.3, something along those lines. We kind of want to go to about 2 and negative 4.3. Okay, so that's kind of the range we're wanting to work in here. We'll worry about the x values later, but let's just focus on getting our y values limited there. So let's open up our player controller script. Here it is from last time. And in order to set the boundaries, we're going to want to put that in void update because we're wanting to be constantly checking for our boundaries. So let's create some space here to make it look nice and neat. And we're going to introduce our first if statement. So an if is kind of like a conditional statement. If this happens, do this. So we're going to do if, and then we do a bracket, and what do we want the if to be? Well, if our transform.position.y, okay, is greater than or equal to 2, okay, and that's the number that we decided on. Your number might be different. So if our transform position of the y is greater than 2, what do we want to happen? So let's do some brackets here. And so if that transition is greater, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do transform.translate. We know this already. And we're going to make that equal to a new vector 3. And here we just got to set our x, y, and z coordinates. I don't want my x coordinate to change. I don't want to be moving my player on the x-axis. So what I want Unity to do is actually take my current x value that my player is at and keep it the same. So in order to do that, we're going to go transform.position.x for my x value. And then for my y value, I want to set it to 2 and 0 for my z value. So what's happening here in the script is if our transform position is greater than 2, if it goes greater than 2, we're just telling it, put it back to 2. So you'll never actually be able to go over 2 on the y value because you're always just sending you back to 2. So let's end that with a semicolon. Let's save it. And let's go back into Unity and see if it works. Okay, so it looks like we made a little error here. So let's kind of go back. We can go check to see what our error was. Let's go to console here. Transform.translate. All right, everything there is looking okay. Transform.translate equals a new vector 3. Maybe transform.position. Maybe as we want to do position here. Maybe I made a mistake. Now it's translate. Let's go back and do a test there. Oh yeah, sorry, that's my bad. Made a little mistake. I'm not translating. I'm actually just setting my transform position. So here we go. As we're moving around the screen, you'll see I actually can't move my cube up past this point, right? So you can see over here, every time I try to go above the 2, it just sends me back to the 2. It doesn't matter where my x is because I told it to keep my current x value. All right, so that's excellent. So we've created that, but now we need to create the lower limits, as we said, which is going to be about 4.3. Okay, so we need to set our lower limits now. So let's go back to our script. And what we're going to do is we're going to build on this if statement with something we call an else if, which is like an also if, an also conditional branch. So else if our transform.position.y is less than, not greater than this time, less than, and I think we said 4.3. Now, because we're working with a decimal place here, we have to indicate that this is a float. So we're going to use f to indicate that it's a float. So if our transform position is less than or equal to 4.3, it's actually not 4.3, it's negative 4.3. What do we want to happen? Well, let's set our brackets. We're going to go with the transform.position this time, not translate, that was my bad. Make that equal to a new vector 3. And let's keep our transform.position.x the same. And then let's set it to -4.3f and 0 for the z. Let's save that. Go back into Unity. No errors this time, so I can go up. And I can go down. But it'll keep me in those boundaries. Okay, so everything there is working perfect. So, little challenge for you guys. Looking at what I have here for my scripting, what I've added to my void update, see if you can make it so you can bind the x coordinates. Okay, so instead of transform_position.y, we're going to do the transform_position.x, and we're going to need to make a few changes to this as well to kind of fulfill those requirements. So hope that helped you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to come talk to me in class. We will see you all later.